So today I'll be talking about how there's this place you can get a lot of good information called Kosher Torah. And there's a section about the Yud, the Hey, the Vav, and the Hey, which is considered to be the Tetragrammaton. God's name that we can't say. So Heichal, there's a few things that it starts. Heichal is the place of domain, the palace domain, the residence containing the owner, protecting from the outside, concealing from outsiders. And Hoveh is to be, which is a form of Hava, it's passive, really it's with a Yud, Haya. We're adding the Yud, makes it active. It's like active, Hoveh means to be, and Haya means it is being. So, there's active being versus just existing. And there's two parallel dimensions, planes of reality. There's the Siyah, which is the natural universe. We call it Elokim, is the way to respect people who are sensitive, but you could replace the K with an H, which would be Elo-him, but without the dash. And then the Yetzirah, which is the supernatural. This is the Yud and Hey, Vav and Hey. You have the people who say they're Jehovah's Witness. That's not the name. That's just them kind of trying to almost make it like a recognized name, but that's kind of defeats the whole point. And then you have the Yahweh people from, some ancient spiritual civilizations where that was their pronunciation. But these are not, just using it as a common word just kind of defeats the whole ineffability of the name, which is to not just make it a common casual word. So the Yud and the Hey and the Vav and the Hey all together as a word, I'm just saying the letters, but we don't even like to say all the letters together because it kind of sound like the name. It flows to the Elokim. From now on, instead of saying the Elo with the H, him, I'm going to say Elokim for the respect. When all is in proper balance, materializing physical abundance with all, in blossom, harmony, balance, peace, up to down flow can be hindered and the channels closed. This is kind of, when we think about it, we have the interdimensional vortex at Sinai, Har Sinai, when the Torah, which is truth, it's a collective downgraded shift into consciousness. Inner channels must first be restored before the outer, being a conduit for supernatural to flow into the natural, so it comes in through the inside. And we use the word master, my master, which means Adonai. We use it to replace, and we don't even usually say it in casual, although in the Bible, the original one, not the New Testament. You can't have a New Testament. A testament is a witnessing. You can't have a new witnessing. We know even in our court system, you can't have a witness change their testament. So when we say a palace for the outside, it's instead of the Yud and the Hey and the Vav and the Hey together, we use Adonai, my master, for the outside. But we don't even use that casually. Orthodox observant people, we would say it kind of only in a prayer. Teshuvah, return or repentance, is a focused, concerted effort to steer the collective to ascension, to the proper direction. And the Shekhinah is this subatomic divine indwelling presence. Shechem means to dwell, Teshuv means to return. Yud and the Hey and the Vav and the Hey is a state of being, an intention, a mind that we can practice cultivation to prepare ourselves and the world. And then I'm going to talk from Esther Hicks on two topics. One is the inner being, and you can find her on YouTube. She's channeling somebody named Abraham Hicks. And I would highly recommend that, that you look into it, because I found it to be really first of all, it's interesting that she's channeling someone named Abraham Hicks, but second of all, I found it to be really, her tone and her playfulness is really digestible, and it makes it go down in such a way that you want to take it in. And she doesn't seem like she's just doing it for money. She seems like she's channeling this information, that it's one with her. Okay, so first of all, inner being. The frequency of a question is different than the frequency of an answer. And when we surrender, it is as simple as listening and letting ourselves move out of the spotlight, needing to be right. An active vibration of something missing is we can't let it into our experience. When we're too wrapped up in the perception of me or perception of others perceiving me, we will not give space to hear the stream from the inner being. And there's an awesome power in not resisted thoughts that can be attempting to harness, for money, healing people, forming relationships. So pointing it at things I'm trying to fix or to fill an absence introduces resistance into my own equation. And then I can't hear. Instead, we have to focus on pleasure of the ease, of release, real ease, instead of the controlling of the mind, the thought, and clarifying, because that's all motions that never ending. When we step back from trying to make something happen, we can let our inner being find the joy, a space for us to witness and recognize all the cooperative components coming into life, attracted by the inner being. Step 1 is asking, setting an intention, releasing the desire. So we'll practice. I'm asking myself to connect with my soulmate, true soulmate, my partner in the physical world that is connected spiritually and chosen by God. Releasing the desire, for example, I've been really focused on someone. He's 10 years younger than me and 10 months younger than me, and I feel like, and now he hasn't answered me in many days, and I feel like pressure in me, like bubbling, like, it's rejection, and I feel like, I thought he was kind, can't he preserve that I think he's kind, can't he just talk to me in person about it if it's too much? And also he's in like the period of life where he wants to be like in school and on vacation, kind of, his parents are paying for it, he gets to learn and study and stay up late, and I don't want to take that away from him, even if I feel like so one with him. Okay, step 2, accept the manifestation, allow the answer, be ready. So I'm accepting the manifestation of the Creator who created a man for me, allowing the answer, and I'm ready. Strange thing is, I got a message, he's my chatan. So while I want that to be true, I'm also scared of like having to be the responsible one, having to work a lot. He's much younger, having to get more income, and then letting him continue his studies. And if I'm having babies, then, you know, not getting so much help, being alone a lot while he's studying or working when he's ready to work. Okay, step 3, receive, channel, open up, totally believe, and repeat. So my visual is I'm watching myself getting my inner thread. Amidst all the physical, there's an inner thread where I'm getting a message now. Chatan means groom. So that he's my groom, even though when I asked yesterday, is Yaakov my chatan, I kept saying no. Until now, I kept getting yes. And yesterday, when I was praying all day, I kept like every so often I would check in and I would be like, is he my chatan? And I would get no, and I had to accept it. But now it's like, at this moment, it's so strange. I'm like receiving yes, and I'm seeing myself at the channel inside, and I'm seeing myself that I was trying to get into his channel to tell him what to do. But actually, if I let go, he'll get his own feedback from inside of himself. And I'm here feeling like we have to choose for ourselves. And so I deserve to be chosen. And if something's not choosing me, it's not for me. So it's so strange. When I ask is he mechatan, I get like a yes and no, and then when I receive the message, it's Yaakov is mechatan. So I'm gonna ask, is Yaakov mechatan? I release the desire for him to be. Just knowing that the right one will choose me. Okay, now accepting the manifestation, allowing the answer, being ready. sit with it. I guess I'm holding space. Maybe someone else is also having some difficulty, whoever's doing this with me. So I just got a yes, and I asked, why do I keep getting no? Because not now. Not now. So receive, channel, open up, totally believe, and repeat. So I received the answer that he is, and he isn't. He isn't now, but he will be. So that's confusing for me. I don't know what that means. And it says, don't get discouraged finding ourselves in step one, because it's always able to grow and expand, and fortifying as a process. So I can live with that it's not now. But I guess a part of me doesn't want to like hold on and wait for something that's never going to happen. Maybe God is wanting to give me more time before I'm in a relationship, like just to be able to do the stuff I can't do when I'm in a relationship. And also he's very strict. He's like a very observant Jewish man. He's a Talmud Chacham. Maybe I'm not ready. I need some more time to become, better at this stuff and learn all the nuances and read from the order, which he, helped guide me to do. So the order is called the Kosher Torah, the ordered table, the set table, the set, So let's try one more time. Step one, whatever the answer is, asking, my intention is to accept my chatan, my life, whoever God created for me, and allowing and releasing the desire. The desire doesn't have to be for Yaakov. The right one for me, it'll be so perfect. It'll be all with Hashem as the third partner. Okay. And now, receiving, channeling, open up, totally believe, and repeat. Sorry, first, step two, accept its manifestation, allow the answer, be ready. Now I got the message he's not. Okay, so I have to be ready. Okay, receive, channel, open up totally, believe, and repeat. Yeah, those are the 3 steps. So now moving on to money and spirituality. I think we should try one more time, just like practicing this, because we'll do it all day, right? So asking, setting intention, releasing desire. I would like to let go of Yaakov if he is not my chatan. I would like to just free myself from wanting him if he's not my chatan. Okay. Now, accepting the manifestation, allowing the answer to be ready. And then receive, channel, open up totally, believe, and repeat. I got that he will be. So see, I'm getting this strange thing. I have to live with it. Okay. It said Yaakov will be your chatan. So he is not, but he will be. It's almost like a sense of humor. Like, no, he's not married to you now. He's not your groom. But he will be. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so it says don't get discouraged if you keep finding yourself in step one. It's process, growth, expansion, fortifying. Now we're going to continue her second topic, money and spirituality. This world is not trial and error beta test. This is where vibration turns into thoughts and they manifest into existence. It's the leading edge, the thoughts keeping added to the network, even broadcasted for others in the vibrational vicinity, even coalescing with via the law of attraction, if enough quantity and gravity, which we can tip into when we are having those thoughts that match. We don't need to associate struggle and sacrifice with spirituality, because the source of extending abundance is vibrations raining down, but our resistance shield up if we have a flawed premise that prevents us from receiving. So we can put to rest beliefs that are not serving us. And we need an endless teacher. There's no one teacher that could from the source given to everyone. Abundance is wealth, knowledge, well-being, and flow. We don't need to follow flawed stories of people who were in alignment for a time on something that wasn't their only consciousness, always permanently, but people took it out of context or try to apply to everyone, everything, all the time, everyone, every time, everything. So when we allow our personal connection to loving, glorious consciousness of source, where we discover our own value and connection with all that is good, one who is connected to source energy is more powerful than millions who are not. The shortage consciousness is a finite prosperity to go around pinching self off because we believe we're unworthy. Suffering consciousness is rendered guidance system ineffective when saying if it feels good, it isn't. If it feels like sacrifice, it's good. So we can put our own experience over our conditioned beliefs when we stand in front of, for example, she gave an example. She's a Jewish woman, but she said when people used to go to Jesus and they stood in front of him with their illness like dripping, almost like their vibrational or physical illness, he would say, don't talk about that. Go forth, tell no one. Don't keep active within you that's blocking the wellness potency within you. In other words, people who like to say died for the sins, it's not really the case. That's a shortage or sacrifice sort of suffering consciousness. Actually, I would say stop blocking yourself off, right? Like sin is also called miss the mark. So it's like not on the target. So the blessings can't even come in because we're like being outside of ourselves or different. Anyway, I'm going to finish here with Chabad.org, which is kolot Chayeinu. All of us are being alive with Adam and Chava in a populated world and their kids. Adam tells God he's hiding because he's naked, and God bellows, who told you you're naked? It's like a rhetorical question. The snake is punished, it crawls on its belly forever, and Adam and Chava realize that they're naked. It's a low level of awareness. God punished by exiling them out of the garden, clothing them like a parent as if nakedness not appropriate in the populated world outside the garden, and they no longer receive without paying with work. Good and bad existed outside the garden, which makes it an appropriate awareness that Adam and Eve can carry with them when they go. So Cain and Hevel were their kids, but if they were just them, Cain wouldn't have been afraid that anyone will kill me without the mark that God gave him, and also he wouldn't have been able to get a wife in Nod, the place of Nod. Cain and Hevel were born on the 6th day before the sin. Adam and Chava were created, conceived immediately, and gave birth. About Cain, Chava said, I've acquired a man with God. To say partnering with God versus God alone made her an Adam. Then she had Hevel next, about which she said, all things ungodly is nothingness. Hevel is like, Cain is like to acquire, and Hevel means nothingness, vanity. Earth and physical pleasure are just vapor. Cain had twin sister, Hevel had two. They married their sisters and fought over who got Hevel's second sister. Cain gave a second-rate offering to God while Hevel gave his best. And God said, after ignoring Cain about this, unjustified anger and measly offering, a warning that evil inclination crouches by the door waiting to be let in and cause people to sin. And some interpretations just criticize his attitude in the sacrifice, where he didn't want to admit he was wrong and instead blamed and hated. They said Cain was too holy, godly, to consider the world to matter. He hadn't worked on himself and overcome or elevated. He was ill-equipped to deal with inner evil. So this is a different way to look at all of this, that even the original children of the world, from the mother and father, Adam and Chava, we talked about the palace, how the body's, the consciousness like a palace, and the outer, and then we talked about the inner being, we talked about abundance coming, from the inner, and then we talked about Adam and Chava with the inner, so basically the inner good and bad is all from the inside, and that we can practice like being a channel, a direct channel. Wishing you an amazing Shabbos. Hope you like this a little bit longer video today on a few different topics. I guess I wanted to share more Torah because yesterday was a little more secular topics, because we weren't allowed to learn the Torah together on Tisha B'Av, the day of mourning for the palace of God and the temple and the physical world services, and that it was violated.